Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. I'm so happy you're here. I'm Steph from Blossom Home Wellness and welcome. I am so glad that you joined us. We have so much good stuff coming for this workout. This workout is called Doing the Work. And we are gonna put some good work in. We're gonna do a little bit of everything. You're gonna lift heavy as appropriate to you. And a quick note, how do you choose the weights that you want to use to lift? The new ACSM guidelines say that you want to pick weights that allow you to be challenged to complete up to 3 reps before failure per set. So in 10 reps, by rep 7 or 8, can you still go for another 6 or 7? Or are you getting to the point where you're pretty challenged and you know in your tank that you have about, by the time you get to 10, that you still have 3 reps left in your tank? That's how we're gonna choose our weights today. So what weights you choose are up to you. Do not be intimidated by whatever you see me pick up. You do you. That's all that matters. Sometimes you might not wanna do any weight for something, and I'll give you that option just so you know it's possible to do this movement without it. All right, so we have a warm-up to do. So let's get into it. We're gonna do hollow holds. So we're gonna come down to the ground, and we're gonna do a very basic midline move that puts us into a very common gymnastics position that is really important for building our midline endurance, control, and stability. So you can hold here. We're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. So you can hold here, you can hold here, you can hold here. The most common way is to lift, and we're gonna hold where I bring my eyes to my belly button or the top of my thighs, and I hold. So you decide which shape you want to do, but your mission is to keep your belly button and your belly button and your rib cage zipped together so that you don't arch. We're gonna keep whatever version you choose, keeps this zipped, keeps this flat, and keeps you moving, okay? 30 seconds. I cannot see the clock, but we're gonna go. All right, so whichever version you do, we get to hang out for 30 seconds together like this. So things to think about. If you start to feel any hot work in your neck and pull in the neck, feel free to drop, but still maintain connection here. Because the second you drop your shoulders, we're almost there. The second you drop your shoulders, you might notice your ribs flare up. I am gonna reset and then hold. Feel free to do that. You can also tuck your knees in. We have 3, 2, 1. You did it. Well done. Now, if you were someone who found yourself not being able to hold the full 30 seconds, fine. You can hold it for 10 seconds, drop, reset. Maybe 5 seconds, drop, reset. Just work a clock for 30 seconds and whatever work you get done in there is perfect. Doesn't matter, it's a warm up. Nobody else is seeing what you're doing, you do you. All right, alternating lateral lunges. So now we're gonna warm up our side to side movement pattern here. So I'm gonna get into a pretty big sumo squat or plie squat looking position. And from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hip hinge. This leg is gonna stay straight. I'm gonna hip hinge, drawing my butt back. And I'm gonna load this leg. So from the side, it looks like this. So when we go side to side, I'm gonna load, come back up to the top into full extension, load the other side. It is very common to feel a difference between sides. Your mission is to keep your heels down. There was 3, here's 4, 5. Only go so low that you can maintain 6. Good positioning. There's 8. Here's 9. Here's 10. Back to the top, come together. And we're gonna go into something called shoulder retraction. Some of you might find these ones a little difficult, and that's okay. So I'm gonna turn sideways so you can watch my shoulder blades, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm pushed way out of my shoulders, and now this is a shoulder retraction. I'm gonna sink my shoulder joint so that from the back, it squeezes my shoulder blades together. It's called a shoulder retraction. You can do this against a wall. You can do this on an elevated surface. We're gonna do it on the ground. So on the ground, it looks like this. You can do it on your knees here, and then you're sinking and pressing up. Sinking, pressing up. Or you can do this in a full plank position where my belly button is pulled up into my spine. And now from this position, my elbows always stay straight. So watch this. We're gonna do 10 of these. I'm gonna sink down, press up for 1, down, press up for 2, down, press up for 3. There's 4. Here's 5, 6. Good job keeping those elbows straight. 7, 8, 9. Last big one all the way up for 10. Drop the knees, come on up. We are gonna do that whole thing again, but we're gonna go quickly. I will be cueing, but I won't necessarily demo, I will just be doing the movement. So hollow hold 30 seconds, choose the version that works for you. That way you can protect your back, protect your neck. I see the clock here, I'm not gonna math, so I'm gonna start right there at a good even number. We're gonna go for 30 seconds. So you might find my counting is terrible sometimes. You might also find that I'm not exactly correct when I hold for a certain amount of time if I can't see the clock. So our clock is sort of obscured by the dumbbells right now. So you might be here, you might be here, you might be one of my OG gymnasts from back in the day, and then you're here, or you're one of my Pilates gals. Doesn't matter. Watching the clock. 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Let's go back to those lateral lunges. Big step out here. Think hip hinge, think load one hip at a time. I'm gonna go this way this time to start. Chest and shoulders stay tall. The tendency here on these ones is to fold forward. Don't do that. I don't want you to lose this midline control here. So we're drawing our hips back. Good job, I think that's 7. Here's 8, back to the top. Here's 9, and then here's 10. Woo, all right, good work. Shoulder retraction. So again, you can be just doing these here in the air, against a wall, on an elevated surface, like the back of your couch, or you can do these on your knees. I will be doing them in full extension here, full plank. Shoulders are stacked right over the top of my elbows and wrists, and from here, I'm gonna sink into my shoulder blades and push up. So nice and active right now. Push down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll notice I'm keeping 7, my neck nice and straight. 8, I'm not turtling down here. 9, 10. Good work. Warm up is done. So we just did some lunges so that we can do more lunges, lateral lunge rows. To be exact, we're gonna grab a dumbbell, just a single one, and I am going to get into, you know what? We're gonna do a step out version, okay? So what we're gonna do is this. I am going to step out. I'm now loaded in a hip hinge. I'm gonna row, then come up. Everybody tends to want to step out, row, and then as they're finishing rowing, they step up. So watch again. I'm gonna step here, row, complete the row. It's a multi-part movement here. So we're gonna go 6, let's go. So here, chest and shoulders are up. Keep that elbow nice and close to your side. There's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. Good job. Here's 4. And then 5 and 6, here we go. Here's 5. And then the last one is 6. Come all the way back to the top. We're gonna switch sides. So I'm gonna switch my hands, opposite arm, opposite leg, and we're gonna take a big step out. One thing I didn't say, feet should be parallel to each other. One should not be forward. Your step out leg is gonna wanna go forward, step straight out of parallel to your, this foot we're stepping away from. So here we go. Hip hinge, draw those hips back. We've got a row. There's 1. Here we got another one. We're going to 6, that's 2. Here's 3. Good job for 4. Keep those chest and shoulders nice and high. I just hit the mic, sorry. 5, 1 more. And here's 6. Stand all the way up to the top. That one's done. We're gonna sit that there. We're gonna come down to the ground now. I'm gonna grab the other side of this set of dumbbells. We're gonna do something called chest press. And with chest press, I'm a little picky about how I teach these, because the way we were all taught to do these in the 80s and 90s puts our shoulders into a bad position. So we were taught to go really wide. We now know biomechanically that to be unsafe. So I teach a little differently, and I teach where we pull our shoulders in, which brings our elbows in and puts us into a really powerful push position that also protects the shoulder girdle, especially for my gals with tendonitis, frozen shoulder situations, any sort of like chest muscles, chest strain, kind of chronic pain in their upper bodies, like upper neck and whatnot. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna turn sideways. We're gonna come down here. And now I'm gonna just turn quickly so you can see that I do not have my weights out here and I don't have them parallel to each other. I have them in a V. So the ends are touching. My forearms are perpendicular to the ground, so straight up and down. Now watch my elbows. I'm gonna come straight down, bend my elbows at a 45-degree angle, tap, and head back up. And that puts me, so starting in the V, puts me in the position to just come right down and press right back up. So from the side, it looks like this. So always coming back to the V. One thing before I will actually count, and then I'll get right into it, is I tend to see women do this, or they come down here. So notice how that collapses the form. So we're going to stay nice and strong, forearms stay straight, up and down, up and down, up and down, tap, head right back out. So we're not coming out, and we're not coming down. We're coming right in the middle in that 45-degree angle, okay? So we're gonna do a grand total of 10 of these, starting in that forward position, and down we go. Again, with the belly button in the rib cage. 2, keep them zipped together. 3, so that your back remains connected to the floor. 4, here's 5. 6, because we're not just passively pushing this. 7, here's 8. We are staying active in our midline. 9, last time for 10. Good work, okay. And then let's move on. We're gonna go half kneeling here, and we're going to stand in a half kneeling position. One foot is in the front. So I have my right foot in the front, and then I'm going to pick up the dumbbell in my left arm. Elbow is pointing forward. Again, perpendicular forearm. I have my rib cage, my belly button are zipped in so that all of this is ready to work. And we're gonna push straight up. We're gonna go 6. There's 1, 2, 3. Elbow stays forward. 4, 5. Last big one overhead. Notice my overhead stacked position. Wrist, elbow, shoulder. Some of you might find you're more here or here. I want you to work towards eventually finishing stacked. Elbow close to the ear. This is your strongest, most stable overhead position. Finishing like this. This is not stable and this is not stable. So over time, you might find, we're gonna switch to the other side, that you are more and more able as you become aware of being able to press overhead. Some of the things that prohibit that kind of stacking are things like that little hump on your back, your upper back, that dowager's hump, or being slightly more kyphotic, so more curved in the upper back. So some of those things will kind of preclude you from having a full stacked position, but that's okay. What we're working towards is being aware of these things and working towards these movement patterns. All right, so it's not a big deal if that's not where you're at yet. That's just a yet thing. You will be there eventually, okay? I have a nice stacked, straight up and down forearm. Elbow is facing forward. And up we go. So my left leg is in the front now. My right arm is the one that's working. That's 2. We're going to 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Come all the way back down to complete the rep. Good job. All right, back to the top. So now you won't hear me talk nearly as much because I don't need to. So let's get back to it. I finished on my left side here, which will be your right side since you're mirroring me. Oh, nope, sorry, we're stepping out. So I'm gonna start with my right arm, left leg, and let's go. So we're gonna step, we're gonna row. That's 1. For some of you, you might find 2 that you can load pretty heavy on this one. This is 3, and by that I mean that you can, here's 4, go heavy in the weight. Here's 5, and then one more big one. Here's 6. Come all the way back up to the top. I'm gonna step over to a bit so that I have space this way. So you might find you can go heavier on this one because it's a pulling position. Pulling positions for women, especially in bent over positions, tend to give you more access to power generation. So you can pull a little bigger. So feel free to mess around with that a little bit, as long as you can keep everything nice and smooth and the quality of your movement patterns really steady and at high quality. Here's 2, here's 3, but I will say the majority of the time, here's 4. Women can pull a lot harder than they think they can. 5, that comes from 25 years of doing this. And here's 6, that I have seen what women are capable of, particularly in pulling positions. All right, let's go into our chest press. So remember, we're in that V position. Forearms are staying perpendicular and we're coming out to a 45-degree angle. Okay, here we go. Coming on down. So remember, rib cage, belly button, zip it up, which gives me connection to the floor, which gets my pelvic floor and my entire midline nice and ready, because we're never just pushing with our upper body, we're pushing with everything. So get everything set up and active, and down we go. There's 1, 2, we're gonna go to 10. Here's 3, 4, just tapping at the top. 5, keeping that V. 6, belly button and rib cage 7 are still zipped up. 8, 9, big press for 10, and let's finish the rep. Slowly down, drop the elbows first, then the ends of your dumbbells, and that very satisfying clink happens. So the heavier you go on chest press, the better and more satisfying that thunking sound is. So there's just a fun little tidbit there for you. All right, I'm warmed up, so I'm gonna go a little heavier on my strict press here, and maybe you're feeling a little more warmed up on set 2 here. So I'm gonna go right leg, left arm. My elbow is facing forward. I'm straight up and down in my forearm. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice I have a pretty light grip. 5, that's so that I don't tire my grip out. I don't need to. 6. So now we're gonna switch. So you'll notice on a lot of pushing movements, I keep my hands open. I'm not gonna tire my grip out. I don't need to. I have a nice big shelf here that I can use to press up for 1. Here's 2, we're gonna go to 6, 3, 4, 5. This hand is out here for counterbalance. And 6, beautiful. All right, top of the 3rd inning here, everybody. I'm gonna go a little heavier even now in my rows, my lunge rows. I'm gonna step this way first, if you'd like to join me that way, but it never matters, you do you. You just go which direction works best for you. And here we go. 1, we're going to 6 again. 2, so notice how my feet stay flat. Here's 3, and I'm stepping out parallel. 4, and now that I'm super warmed up, here's 5, I can come down quite a bit lower in my lunge. And here's 6. So you might find that happens for you. You might find that doesn't happen for you, and that's okay too, okay? So I'm switching sides, opposite arm, opposite leg. 6, here we go. This will be the last set of these ones. 1, here's 2. Keeping my eyes up. 3, not just to look at you, but to ensure 4, that I don't lose an active upper body. Here's 5. And then last big one. 6, come all the way up to top to finish the rep. Beautiful. All right, chest press. If you're feeling really warmed up and want to go a little heavier on your chest press because you're feeling it, as long as your form is solid, feel free to explore going heavier. If you're perfectly content with where you're at and you feel like it's a good challenging weight to ensure good form, especially if the way I just taught it is new to you, stay right where you're at. Here we go. Gonna come on down. I'm gonna, again, little cue, belly button, rib cage. I'm gonna make sure they're zipped so that I don't have my rib cage flaring up, no arch in my back. Zipping these up creates that connection to the ground, creates an active midline, and now I'm ready to work. Here we go. So starting in that V, keep the elbows coming down to 45 degrees. Here's 2, we're gonna go to 10. Here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, here's 6, here's 7, and 8, and 9, and last time. Woo! All right, you did that one. Okay, like I said before, if you're feeling more warmed up and you've got good form in the strict press, you're keeping your elbows forward, you feel nice and stable in this half kneeling position. And the half kneeling position is important because it keeps you from using your legs. So it forces you to use your pelvic floor, to use the side body muscles on the side that's pressing, and it forces stabilization in the side that you have out in front. So half kneeling positions are awesome. So there's 1, we're going to 6. We do a lot of half kneeling. 2, to ensure that we're finding different ways. 3, to challenge our entire system. 4, 5, and 6. Good, come on over and switch. It's really common, especially in these kind of like single leg balance moves or in these kind of half kneeling moves, to find out that you have a weaker side. So maybe it's weaker in strength, or it's weaker, there's 1, going to 6. Weaker in stability, that's all fine. 3, it's very common. 4, so be patient with your body if you find. 5, that you are that way. And 6, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means we got work to do, that's all. All right, we are done with those. So your mission is to take a water break. If you would like to pause this, go for it. Take the water break. We're not going on without you. If you are fine, get your little sip of water. I left my water over there, but we'll get water later. And then we're gonna go on, okay? We have 3 new moves, and we'll do those 3 times, and then you're done with this workout. And you will have gotten a pretty solid full body workout. Okay, we need a box. For those of you who don't have a box, you can use a couch, a stool, a step outside, or you do not need to use a box if you do not have something to put your foot up onto. And actually, I am going to turn sideways so that you can see how this is set up. Lots of ways to teach people how to get an exact setup, but I want you to go by feel for this. So there is a line right here. I'm gonna put my foot on it as my starting position, and I'm gonna bring this foot up. Now, immediately, if you've never been in this position, you might be like, oh my gosh, and you'll come down, and then you'll come up, and you'll come down, and you'll come up. That's fine. Take your time. Feel free to do this next to a wall if you have access to something you can move to next to a wall, and then you're doing a hand-supported Bulgarian split squat, which is this. So while lots of memes exist for people doing these and then they walk out of gym because they don't want to do them because they're hard, we want to do them because arguably they load our glute system in a way that is hard to beat in other types of lunges. Okay, so hips facing forward, shoulders facing forward. I'm gonna turn my head, which will create a little more instability for me, but for you, just listen to my words, keep your eyes facing forward. I'm gonna be up on the ball of the back foot. And what I'm gonna do is hop this foot out a little bit more because I wanna be stretched out a bit. You don't wanna be too close. It doesn't give you access to the right level of lunge that we're looking for. And unlike what some people will say, touching the floor is not imperative. This knee does not need to touch the floor. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna come down. I can touch the floor because I've been doing these for 1,000 years. You might be more here. So notice how I stay nice and tall. Chest and shoulders stay forward, hips stay facing forward. Hands can be here as a guide. And you just come down. Little dip, a little lift. Great. If you want to explore a little bit more, some of you might want a pillow on the floor underneath your knee to give you more of a target or to lift your target or to protect your knee. Great. Do whatever that works for you. So we're gonna go 6 of these, okay? I'm gonna go down to the ground because I can. Do not feel panicky because you're not there yet, okay? That is not a big deal. You do you, okay? Everything's facing forward. Down I go. 1. I'm gonna stay on the ball of the back foot for 2. 3. I'm really loaded in this front leg for 4. 5. And 6. Okay. Switching legs. You will notice when I switch legs, this side does not look the same. So I'm gonna step out, reach back. Because I have scoliosis on this side, that affects what this leg does. I am not as able to go down to the ground on this side. And that's okay. Have grace with your body. That's just the way it is. Okay? Everything's facing forward, and down I go. 1 and 2. Oh, I touched the ground on that one. Okay. 3. Now I'm just making myself a liar. Here's 4. Here's 5. So everything is staying super straight. And 6. So the goal with that one, stay tall, stay active, and try not to push forward too much or fold forward, okay? Let's do some tricep kickbacks. We haven't done any tricep work here. So I'm gonna grab a set of dumbbells, and to get set up, I'm going to turn sideways. I'm gonna plaster my elbows against my rib cage here. And without weights, it looks like this. We're gonna come all the way in. We're gonna bring the dumbbells all the way up, extend back. Here's what some of the pitfalls of this one. People do this, and then they do this. Nope. I want that fulcrum point of the elbow against the rib cage. So we're here, here's the dumbbells, kick back. I'm not doing this. This whole line stays busy and active without the wrists. So in action, we're gonna go 10, and it looks like, here we go, like that. Elbows stay right against your rib cage, whether you're in full extension, 3, or you come all the way up. 4, 5, 6, 7, head on, 8, 9, I am bent over into a hip hinge, and 10, and stand. We have bicep curls to do. I'm just gonna use these weights, because why not? So bicep curls, lots of different ways to do them. We are gonna do them in one particular way, where I rotate this supinated version here, and then I'm going to do something that we were not taught when I was learning to lift. Watch my wrists. They curl up. Watch what happens with my forearms. So here, forearms are inactive. Watch what the muscles do now that they're active. I rolled my wrist up. It activates my forearms, which gets the tendons into the elbows ready. And now the whole chain up the arm is ready for work. So we can avoid tendonitis issues in our elbows. Okay, so pull. And we're gonna keep our elbows, name of the game, elbows stuck to your sides. 2, 3, 4, 5, my knees are soft. 6, belly button is pulled in. 7, shoulders up and active. 8, or back and active, don't go up. 9, and 10, all the way down. Okay, back to those Bulgarian split squats. At this point, you can, if you're feeling it and you're just rocking on these Bulgarians, you can go weighted on these. You can hold a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a can of soup just to feel like it was something weighted against your system. Or you can go back to hand supported, where your hand is on something, or doing them without any weight the way that I was doing them. I'm gonna do them unweighted. For my gals, we're doing them unweighted. If you're doing them weighted, just hold it here in a goblet position against your chest. All right, I'm gonna switch legs. So the leg I ended on is the leg I'm gonna start on. And I'm gonna be up on the ball of this back foot. I'm gonna have my shoulders, chest facing forward. And this is all gonna stay nice and active. And down I go. 1, 2, I don't know why this side's feeling really good today. 3, 4, I'm gonna fully extend. 5, I just realized I wasn't doing that. I'm doing one more because I think I just lost count. And 6 or 7, who knows. Okay, switch back to the other side. All right. Hop out wider than you think. In the hopping, you might find yourself really unstable. You might fight your legs back here. If you do that, just go to hand supported. Put your hand against the wall, get yourself stable, and then you can mess with doing this without a hand. Here we go. 1, 2, again, you do not have to touch the 3. There's the floor, that's 3. Here's 4, here's 5, and here's 6. Good work. You might be feeling this in your glute region, in your rear end, and that is awesome. You will also equally feel it in your hamstrings, and you might have felt a stretch at the top of the hip flexors on either side, regardless really of which leg was in the back. All normal. All right, tricep kickbacks. So we're gonna get into that hip hinge position. So that's this guy, okay? If you come up a little higher, it tends to be harder to extend back behind you. If you feel this in your back, feel free to put one hand down and do this 10 on each side, single side with a hand support to protect your back. So that would look like this. So I have a hip hinge going, my hand is in a tripod position, and I'm here, kick back and forward. So if you decide that it's safer for your back and you can get better quality positioning in this single arm position, by all means, do that. That's fine. So you do not need to do bent over double if it's hard on your body or you have a hard time maintaining good form with 2 in your hands. It is more difficult that way. So feel free to go single side, okay? So for us, we're gonna go dual dumbbell tricep kickbacks, elbows staying very connected. 2, we're gonna go to 10, 3,
4, notice my wrists don't move. 5, they stay very busy. They stay very connected to the whole long line of things. We'll see, that's 8, 9, and 10. If you find my count is off, and I'm off by 1 or 2, go until you finish it. It's fine. I'm big talking a lot, I lose track. So back to bicep curls. That weight is too light. All right. So again, rotate forward, curl the wrists, keep your elbows plastered against your side. So it will look like this from the side. Knees are soft, rib cage is tucked under, and up we go. We're gonna go to 10. Little trick, 2, 3 is when it starts to get hard, move a little. Take a little step. 5, move forward. 6, you might see me fudging things and doing that. 7, 8, you can move around a little. 9, it distracts your brain. 10, finish the rep all the way down to the bottom. Okay, there we go. Finishing that. All right, I'm gonna do a little weighted Bulgarian split squat just so you can see what that looks like. If I'm holding a dumbbell, I can hold it here, or I can hold it here, or I'm gonna grab a little guy back here. If you're holding a kettlebell, this is the way I teach it. YouTubers have all kinds of different ways they teach this. This is an easier shelf, easier to control the kettlebell. Create a little, hold it sideways like this, and you cup it against your chest. So it will be like this. I would normally keep it higher, but I have a mic on and I don't want you to have to hear me going against the mic. So I'm gonna drop this a little lower and I'm gonna move this. And I am going to get started. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna kick out a little bit, come up on the ball of the back feet, ensure that shoulders and chest are facing forward, and down we go. There's 1, there's 2, here's 3, oh goodness gracious. 4, 5, last time weighted here, and 6. Good, switch, let's go. And again, if you're not doing this weighted, awesome. You do you, as I say a million trillion times a day. Do exactly what works best for you and ensures the best quality of movement and the safest quality of movement. And down we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm super front loaded in my front leg here. And 6. Okay, heart rate should be up. Breathing should be up. I am gonna get heavier weights here. Nope. All right, last set of tricep kickbacks. If you're feeling super warmed up and you're feeling so inclined, feel free to go up and weight. If you can ensure the same quality of connection to the rib cage, full extension, no wrists. And then same thing with the bicep curls. If you can still curl your wrists, keep your elbows tucked in, and lift, then go up. If you can't ensure that, don't go up and stay right where you are. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go tricep kickbacks, sideways, bent over row. All my single side people, you got it, keep going. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Good. Standing, if you need to shake out your grip, especially if you just went a little heavier, you can shake your grip out for a sec. And then, or stop and get water. That's always fine too. All right, same thing. Knees, drop the knees, rotate the wrists, or the elbows that is. Curl those wrists. 10, last big push, here we go. And then we're almost done. 2, 3, shoulders are tall. 4, 5, 6. I'll turn sideways so you can watch. 7 as a guide. 8. Keep those elbows tucked, those wrists up. 9. 10, bring it all the way up. Keep those wrists curled, elbows tucked. Finish the rep all the way down. And you did it. Okay, you should feel awesome. If you don't feel awesome, go find someone in your house or someone nearby to high five so they can tell you that you're awesome, because you are. You just worked really hard. We did a bunch of things. For some of this might be new to some of you. Awesome. I'm so glad you joined us. Thank you so much. Stay feral,
eat protein, drink lots of water. And as always, if you liked this and found this helpful, like and subscribe to the Blossom Whole Wellness YouTube channel. And I will see you another day. And as I said, stay feral. Have a good afternoon.